Hey everyone, Ben here and welcome back to the channel. We are straight onto the grid at Oulton Park in the TCR challenge in iRacing, and we've qualified in pole position, but we're already underway and we've got a terrible start off the grid. We bogged down and we've got cars swamping us from all sides. Another down our inside here, which is going to push us to the outside, coming through into the next complex of corners. We're side by side coming down the hill into the right hand, and there's contact, and immediately we've made a massive mistake and our race has gone from looking like we could be in with a shout of a victory to tumbling all the way down the standings, and unfortunately that was very much our mistake. If you look here on a replay of the incident, we are side by side with the car on our inside and we just do not leave him enough space. My fault. I'm the one who ends up causing that accident, and actually we're both very fortunate not to collect other cars. I had to apologise after the race. One final look then from our onboard as we're barrelling down the hill. You can see it's a very marginal move to the right, but in the end I do squeeze him, and that's where the contact comes from. I've got to wrestle the car to keep it under control and we just about manage it, but then you can see the cars filing past us as we rejoin right the way at the back of the pack. So my job then is to try and make up as many positions as possible after that disastrous opening lap mistake. It's made slightly easier with cars coming together up ahead of us. As you'll see, we just managed to scoot on past as two cars squeeze each other out onto the grass. So there is another couple of positions made up after that disastrous opening lap, and then just a few laps later we're closing right up on the back of the car up ahead. Once again there's a big incident at the hairpin as two cars have made a mistake there and are on the runoff area, so that's 3 more places gained through the course of that action, and in the end we were able to get back up into 7th position from the back of the pack. We just about held off the car behind us there as we crossed the start finish line. So back onto the grid then for race 2. And I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to cut out the silly mistakes which ultimately cost us a shot at the win last time out. We've put it on 3rd on the grid, so a slightly less good qualifying position, but we're still right at the sharp end as the green lights go on and we are underway. But once again I've had a poor start. The Honda behind us comes right into our rear end, tags the left rear corner of the car, and that was really quite a big hit from in the cockpit. The race engineer comes over the radio to tell us that we've actually knocked our steering out of alignment, so I'm not quite sure how the car is going to handle at this stage as we're coming down the hill. We're in 5th position, we do hug to the inside and get the apex, but we're now going to be closing right in on the Hyundai up ahead of us of Carpio as we're coming down into the braking zone. He brakes earlier than I expect. We've lost it completely and we're round and off into the runoff area in the hairpin. That was a complete misjudgment on my behalf, and once again we're at the back of the pack. I can't believe that I've made such a fundamental mistake once again. Just too aggressive, too ambitious heading into that hairpin. A little bit unsettled I think from the big whack we got off the line. Possibly the car not handling its best. There is that whack on the replay. You can see the left rear of the car getting the full force of the Honda that started better from behind us, but he can't drive through us, and he certainly couldn't have got round us on the grass either, so I'm not quite sure what he was playing at there. But we come down the hill at least this time. We're not side by side with another car, so we don't come into contact there. But I just get caught out by the closing distance to the cars up ahead as we head into the hairpin. You'll see we're tucked right underneath the rear wing. I am on the brakes, reasonably easy, but I don't go full force, and yeah, we get 2 tyres up on the grass, and that is enough to unsettle the car. I'm able to get it turned around and just avoid hitting the tyre barriers, but we are joining at the very back of the pack. 16th position then, we rejoin on the very next lap of the race. There is one car behind us that started in pit lane, and we're closing up on Dosso just up ahead of us, or trying to at least reel that gap in. The pack is pretty closely tied together up ahead, so maybe there will be some opportunities to get some of those places back quickly if we're able to just keep it neat and tidy ourselves. We come into the braking zone once again at the hairpin, and there's been a big accident. Look at the number of cars across the track. There's one off to the left, there's more off up ahead. Look at that. We're able to just get on by down the inside. I think I might have made up 5 positions there it could be even more, as cars had come together, particularly off to the left hand side. We'll take a look back at just exactly what caused that mass collision into what is a very tight hairpin. I'm not keen on this variation of Oulton Park at all. Much better to have the longer straight into the banked hairpin at the end of the lap, but we've got to deal with it just as every other driver does, and we got quite lucky there, and hopefully this is the beginning of me rescuing this race from that initial mistake, and we can perhaps make another comeback as I'm closing in on Dosso in the Honda up ahead. I'm going to shape to the inside to see if there's a move to be made down into the final corner of the lap, but I'm just not close enough to be able to make that move, so I've got to settle in behind. But I'm putting on big pressure here as we come to the end of the lap within 0.2 seconds of the car ahead. There might be opportunities on the next lap to finally squeeze past, particularly as Dosso has really slid the car through that first corner, so he clearly is feeling the pressure as we're coming down the hill once again into the left-hander. Just try and keep the car neat and tidy through the corner and get on the gas as early as you can down this straight into the hairpin. I'm not going to be close enough to make a move here, but I'm holding my breath to see what kind of carnage awaits us on this lap. Thankfully there isn't any, so we can get a clean run through the corner and just focus on getting onto the rear wing of Dosso and Trujillo up ahead in 8th position. We are in 10th position then, so we made up 6 positions on the last lap through that carnage at the hairpin. Incredibly, it has catapulted us back into this race, just what we needed after that opening lap mistake. We're up the hill then, we're still within 0.3 seconds, very difficult to overtake on this lap. The final corner really does represent one of the best opportunities if we can get a good run through the double right-hander here, and we have. We just need to not run it out too wide, clip a little bit of the curb. We've got a brilliant run here on Dosso up ahead of us. We're shaping to the inside, we're going to get later on the brakes, hug to the apex to not squeeze them out of road on the outside, and we're able to make the move stick. So we're going to be up into 9th position as we cross the start finish line and come towards the middle third of this race, just up to the 5-minute mark, and we are now just beginning to recover then, and hopefully are going to be able to get onto the rear wing of the 3 cars up ahead that we can see snaking their way down the hill to on the left hand corner there. That's really where my ambition is now, to get up into the top 6. Let's take a look back though at some of the replay footage to just see what played out at the hairpin as drivers seemingly lost their mind or were blindsided by accidents going on up ahead of them, and you can see it's such a massive mess as cars run into each other. It is a very difficult corner, and you really have very poor visibility coming in to the corner if there have been cars involved in accidents, but you can see there is just confusion, essentially. Cars running wide all over the place and into each other, trying to get off the racing line. We were very fortunate, but the accidents are still playing out as cars are rejoining. What a mess. Thankfully, we did not get caught up in it, and we benefited hugely. Here then is the overtake on Dosso. Just a couple of laps later, we get a very nice run through the double right-hander into the final corner. We're brave on the inside. We keep it nice and tidy so we don't run out wide and make any contact there, and we're through and up into 9th position. And now we've got our eyes forward to try and reel in Trio, which we have managed to do within a couple more laps. We're just coming up to the 8-minute mark as we enter into another lap here, and we're definitely putting the pressure on the driver up ahead. We're within half a second. Per Copio is the driver behind now, 4 seconds back, so we've got a good gap in our rear view mirror, so we can fully focus on putting the pressure on the driver in the Audi up ahead here, as we might have a run down into the hairpin. I'm going to shape to the inside here, just not quite close enough, but he's ran it in deep, he's ran wide, so we are going to be able to duck down the inside, make a clean pass. And I'm very, very relieved to have been able to do that, because it was looking like it was going to be difficult to make a move there, but a small mistake from the driver up ahead, and we've put ourselves up into 8th position as we come through the chicane. Tricky, you've got to try and be brave and get as close to those tyre stacks on the inside as you can to get the best line through the corner, and then early on the gas, and you can see we've already gapped the driver behind now by half a second, and we've got to pack more cars up ahead that we're going to try and close in on. Before before we do that, let's take a little look back at that move. You can see the car up ahead just getting in too deep, and we were able to get down his inside and make that position up. So the recovery is coming together here. We've gone forward another few laps. There's probably about 3 laps left in this race, and we've caught up to the rear wing of Trinidad. There's a little bit of contact between the two cars up ahead there. That's going to give us a chance potentially to get alongside the Audi driver up ahead once more, but we're on the outside. This is going to be very, very tricky down into the hairpin. I'm just not able to make a move in this instance because we were on the outside of the corner. There's really no way around the outside there, providing he doesn't make a further mistake, and he didn't. As we're heading down now towards the chicane once again, I'm just trying to get a bit of visibility into the apex, and look at that, off to the left hand side a driver has gone through the runoff area. I'm not quite sure what's gone on there. I think this is for position as we duck down the inside, and yes, we've gone past Dichari, who must have made some sort of mistake coming into the chicane, or maybe there was a bit of contact, I don't know, but that has promoted us up what I think is a net 7th position here in this race as we're coming to try and put even more pressure on Trinidad. Gutierrez, Abreu up ahead. We can see 5th place on track at this stage, maybe even 4th place in fact, given we've lost one of the drivers up ahead there. So there are big positions up for grabs here if I'm able to make moves, but the white flag is out, so we're only going to have one more racing lap to go here. So the pressure is on. Can we make up any further spots and just try and claw something back from what has been another recovery race, having had a very large mistake on the opening lap? Yeah, confirmation there. We are in 7th, Trinidad up ahead in 6th, then Gutierrez in 5th, and Abreu leads this chain of cars in 4th position. So we've had such good pace. It's such a shame that we haven't been able to fully realise that pace in terms of finishing position. We're all the way alongside here though, so we've got a chance of making this move, but we just can't get it done. He's got the high ground of the corner, Trinidad, so we're not able to get past. We have to settle in behind and hope that another opportunity is going to present itself. The best chance is probably going to be at the very final corner of this lap, but there's action up ahead as well, so we may yet see more cars off into the grass or into the barriers that might give us a final position in this race. Look at how close the racing is as we just try and carry as much momentum as we can. We haven't been fully successful through that corner there, so it looks like we've dropped back just slightly. Trinidad is now attacking Gutierrez up ahead. He might try and make a move into the double right-hander coming up here. He's shaping for it, but there is not room for 2 cars through there. That is going to give us a better run, so there may yet be a chance into the final corner. We just keep it on the tarmac there. He takes to the inside to defend the corner, and there's not room for us around the outside either. We try and maximise our exit from the corner. We nearly run into the rear wing of the Audi driver up ahead. I'm trying to find space, but there isn't any as we cross the start-finish line for the final time and come home once again in 7th position. I would say lucky number 7, but I think we've been a little bit unlucky in these 2 races in making the big mistakes that we have. Let's take a look back then at how that frantic final couple of laps played out. Here we go with the driver who just makes a mistake into the chicane. He takes to the runoff area, and I have to say is very, very fair in terms of how he seeks to rejoin the track. Very, very polite there, doesn't seek to take advantage of having straight lined the corner. Perhaps he's got a slowdown penalty that he's trying to clear. I guess he must have, but nevertheless, he makes sure that he doesn't collect anybody in rejoining on the track. This then is the final lap as we're trying to come and get past the driver up ahead of us for one more position. But ultimately, as the action plays out in the background, we weren't able to do it. So we had to settle for 7th position. Here's the full classified results. Really enjoyable racing. I wish I'd just been a bit more focused in the early stages of these 2 races, because I genuinely think we might have had pace to fight for a win in what were quite high splits. You can see that by the number of championship points that we were able to secure even just by coming home in 7th place. The good news is we've had a bump to our I rating as well, our safety rating remaining just about consistent. So we're reaching the sharp end of the championship now then. We've only got one more round after this week. We're at Laguna Seca next week. I hope you've enjoyed this race. If you have, leave a like, get subscribed and join us for the final race of the season next week.